Top tips to preventing and coping with burnout. Are you at the point of wanting to combat stress, overwhelm, and turn the tide on burnout? Maybe you're a parent or a carer who's had a lot to deal with in the past year. So in this week's Weekly Insight, I'm going to share with you some great tips on preventing and coping with burnout and for things to consider. But before I do, if you like this video and find it valuable, please like, subscribe and share. So let's dive straight into some of the tips. Career and parental burnout are something we know about all too well. There was a time, but I still believe to a certain degree that asking for help, or at least I find many of my clients find that asking for help is seen or reflected as failure. So instead, what are we trying to do? We're trying to conquer our worlds of home life and work life alone, doing it all to prove that we are competent at both home and work life, so that we can balance these out. But let me tell you that this is an unrealistic ideal of perfection, which results in your mental and physical exhaustion, insomnia, anxiety and depression, and relying too heavily on alcohol to relieve stress and overwhelm for many. We are not alone when it comes to burnout. Now, a recent study by Deloitte shows that 77% of respondents say that they have experienced employee burnout at their current job, with more than half citing more than one occurrence. This survey also revealed that employers may be missing the mark when it comes to developing wellbeing programs that their employees find valuable to address their stress in the workplace. Now also, I've spoken to many leaders and CEOs, and it is also evident that even the most successful of CEOs in the world need a lot of support and should advocate it for more as a priority in their company. The need to work together to look after the well-being of both home and at work. Now, as a parent or a carer, we are particularly vulnerable to burnout, exposed to 360-degree demands on our mental, physical, emotional and practical resources. Parental burnout is hugely on the increase. And again, there's another study that shows evidence of the impact on family life is worrying. According to this article that was published by the Library of Medicine, parental burnout refers to the emotional exhaustion of parents, emotional distancing from their children, reduced feelings of parental accomplishment. It has severe consequence for parents themselves, increasing escape, suicidal ideations, sleep problems and addictions, as well as for their partner, increasing conflict and partner estrangement, and their children, increasing neglect and violent behaviours towards their children. Absolutely shocking. Now, with the year we've had during lockdown, parents have found themselves juggling constantly far more than they expected, whilst also trying to balance home, school, educating, but also working. So without a doubt, it has put an enormous amount of strain on mental, emotional needs affecting many people. This has exuberated in families also with extra needs, where parents often find themselves doing the heavy lifting of unpaid caring roles. Now, the link between mental ill health, burnout and addictive behaviour is absolutely clear. When someone is stressed and overwhelmed, be it in their home or the workplace, their nervous system is dysregulated. They are often stuck in a hyperarousal state with high cortisol and adrenaline levels. Now, the need to regulate may have at one time been soothed down by scrolling on their phone, rewarding themselves with the internet, shopping or going to the gym to de-stress. For many, we begin to build habits and emotional connections to these behaviours. But this can become problematic, whatever the behaviour. It becomes the go-to coping mechanism. The key here is to empower yourself to ask the right questions, better questions about what you really need to do to resource yourself to have a better life, to avoid that burnout. So this is how you do it. As promised, top tips for you or someone you may know that is suffering with burnout in any area or on the verge. So fall in love with the word no. You can say no because you don't have to do it all by yourself. Delegate as much as possible. In the workplace, who can you share the workload with? At home, could you ask your children to help? Could you possibly shuffle around your finances and outsource any jobs? Look at your boundaries. Boundaries are your friend. Identify what your non-negotiables are. Articulate to those around you of concern. Articulate the consequences and make it something reasonable. If this boundary is crossed, then carry out that consequence. But also, boundaries can be flexible. I know that might sound a bit contradictory, but they can. So sometimes negotiate a real point of stress within the workplace or at home to see if these rigid boundaries can have some flexibility. So ask yourself, what is the non-negotiable? What can you be flexible on? Ask for help. There is no shame in struggling. Whatever the situation, we cannot do everything by ourselves. We will become burned out. So look for the support. Sleep is fundamental. Ask yourself, are you getting the sleep that you need? Is it quality sleep? What does your hygiene sleep look like? Support your health and nutritional needs by food, exercise and hobbies. Like they say, put your own oxygen mask on first. Self-care is resilience work. If you have a pivotal role, if you are that person that is at the top of that chain of providing, so please put on your oxygen mask first. You have to put yourself in that driving seat of your own well-being before you can start to help other people. Now, burnout can be characterized by many feelings of helplessness, fatigue, lack of focus. Now, a great guide for signs is to look out for these and recognize them and listen to them. You want to empower yourself so that you don't go down these unhealthy strategies. Now, if you're interested in developing your skill set in any of these areas, being behaviour, habit change, mindset, trauma, or how to combat stress and overwhelm and turn that tide of burnout out, then get in touch with me. If you would like to know more resources or have more resources at your disposal, then subscribe to my newsletter and you will receive a free access code to these resources at zinatnarani.com/contact your coach. Also, why not arrange a free consultation with me at calendly.com/zinatnarani. Let's get talking. Let me help you to take action so you feel empowered to make a change, that transformation, and live the life that you desire by helping you find and forge your path to success. I'm Zinat Narani, a wellbeing and mental health coach and therapist, speaker and author, and also radio presenter of Mindset Matters.